Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the Outskirts Unit. This is the Gaming Saloon for August 26, 2023, with your host, Peacemaker2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
We have a decent amount to talk about. It depends on how much Gamescom interests us, which I'm going to say not a whole lot.
Well, we don't have a lot to talk about then. Noted.
That depends on how the last two, I feel like, go.
I could maybe see the last one, but the last two, meh.
Fair. But yeah, we've got stuff to talk about at least. But before then, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Truthfully, not a whole lot.
Same.
Pretty much the stuff we've done on streams about it kind of deal. I did finally decide to hop back into Star Citizen a little bit today. Did a couple of bunkers. Realized the AI's busted to crapping back at the moment, and yeah, that was about it.
When has that game not plagued with some really dumb problem?
Oh, this one's really bad. The scripting for the AI never fully started. So they spawned and stood in one spot until you aggroed them, and then they decided to turn and shoot at you. Supposedly 320 has the AI fixed. If the stream I was watching is any indicator, then you know, aimbot is not really fixing it. The stream I was watching, he blew one of the guards up with a grenade launcher, and as the guard was flying through the air, he managed to get a headshot on him. You know. But in light of the PTU for 320 being up and going at the moment, I get the funny feeling that I hope they'll actually take their time and, you know, fix the problems that the PTU's already seeing. Because 30Ks are back with a vengeance.
Well,
but if they take their time and actually fix it, we might not see it for at least a few weeks out. If they rush through it like they've done in the past, it'll probably be out next week. And I almost feel like they'll probably try to rush and put it out because, you know, we kind of have another important star-based game coming out.
Starfield, right?
Yeah. If I get the bad feeling they're gonna rush this and then it's gonna screw up worse.
Yeah. Apparently the first hour or so of that game got leaked, and it is exactly what you'd expect the opening of a Bethesda game to be, so it doesn't entice me any more than Starfield already has, which is not a whole lot.
I'm willing to give it a shot at the beginning because it's basically supposed to be similar to what Squadron 42 is supposed to kind of do too. So if it can pull that off and hook me early into it, then I'll probably hang on and go with it. But if not, then yeah, I'm not gonna care.
I think the only thing that has my interest in there is the shipbuilding stuff, and I'm like, cool, how long is it to like get to access that stuff, and how often can I get parts and stuff to like fuck around with that?
And how in depth is it actually going to be, kind of deal?
It seemed fairly in depth from a a stream I was watching where they were detailing a bunch of stuff about the game. So, yes.
But I mean,
But
is
also,
it full on custom? You're pretty much building it from the ground up, or is it a case of you're able to change parts to make it perform different, or how kind of deal? Because like if it's a full on ground up kind of deal, then yeah, it's got me kind of hooked there.
Yeah.
If it's just changing components to make it work better, then give Star Citizen a few more patches and it'll probably be around that point too. So it's not like it's really going to be leading the way for anything.
Yeah. From my understanding of what it is, you'll essentially get modules, which are essentially just here is different cockpit modules, different life support modules, different engine modules, you know, that sort of thing. And you can plug and play them together as you desire to make a ship as you want. Someone made like a robot shaped ship in the stream. So as long as they snap together, it'll snap together essentially.
So it's going to be Minecraft ship building kind of deal.
Yes. You've got boxes, connect the boxes together to make your ship.
I feel like that's one of those, the execution of it's going to have to be what'll drive it for me on that one. Because otherwise that don't really sound that interesting to me.
Yeah, like the gun, like they got all the Doom devs. Why am I blanking on their name?
id. They got id in to do the gunplay of the game. So people from id did the gunplay of the game. So that's a plus, I guess. So at least is it FPS or?
Yeah, it's FPS.
Okay. Because I've kind of steered clear of it because I don't want to have my perception of it skewed too hard kind of deal.
I think you can toggle the third person, but I think it's primarily first person.
So then I'm at least feeling confident with the FPS side of it then.
Yeah. Because
the two Doom games that we've recently gotten both play really good.
Yeah.
So I have no problems with that side of it then. But yeah, it's gonna boil down to, is the story gonna hook me good enough? And is the shipbuilding mechanic gonna be fun enough for me to even want to fool with? Or is it gonna be a case of I'm just gonna build this basic ship and hot swap parts? Because if it's just gonna be that part of it, then exactly what I was saying about Star Citizen, give them a few more patches for them to get the rest of the modules to that point, and yeah, it'll be at the same point.
Mm-hmm. I'll give it a try when it comes out, since it's on Game Pass. I honestly didn't know that Persona 5 Tactica and Persona 3 Reload were also going to be on Game Pass.
Starfield might be one of those that, if we're both willing to give it a shot kind of deal, we might do it on like a Sunday kind of deal.
Well, it comes out 2 Tuesdays from now, so
it's one of those I don't know kind of deal.
Yeah,
because that's a good little bit of a gap, and chances are one or both of us will have seen something for it by then.
Yeah.
But I almost don't want to pull a trigger and say we're going to do it on a Tuesday kind of deal.
Fair. Anything else?
No, not really. Because, I mean, about the only other thing kind of ties into the last article, so not gonna screw the whole order up just because of that.
Yeah. Finishing up Rift Apart felt really nice, really good. I kind of want to learn the speed run, but I also want to platinum the game first and all that. So it means going through New Game Plus, upgrading all the weapons, doing all that, which is perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. If I want to learn the speedrun by then, I'll learn the speedrun by then. But if not, then it's okay. I can once more enjoy Ratchet and Clank at a distance in the speedrun sense.
In all seriousness, I know you kind of want to platinum it first, but I know from like how Splatoon 2 was, honestly, picking up early speedruns of it, just kind of getting a feel of the run, kind of helped me max everything out for it. So that might be something to look at too, if that might help be a way to kind of bridge the gap between both of them.
Fortunately not, because from what I understand of the combat of it, it is use the not fully upgraded Rhino to obliterate everything. 90% of the speedrun is movement tech. So
Okay. Whereas with the Splatoon 2 run, you're still getting enough eggs throughout the whole thing that you can upgrade by the time the run's done, kind of deal.
yeah,
That's why I was like, that could be that question mark, because that might help you.
yeah. And the only reason they use a not fully upgraded one is because they found out that the fully upgraded one spreads the shots out too much. So doing the not fully upgraded keeps it condensed and hits harder.
That's
And from there,
funny.
it's a weird quirk of how the Rhino works in this game. Because how the Rhino works in this game is essentially opens up a rift to drop an object on the enemy, and it does a ton of damage. I think it does I think where I'm currently at, which is nowhere close to where it's going to be for a speed run, it does 20% damage on a boss. And that plus the Peacemaker, which is the rocket launcher of the game, the first major boss of the game, they kill it before it does its phase transition, which is hard scripted to happen because you will still get pulled into that phase, but it's dead by then. So it just cycles you to the area and then pulls you back. But the boss is dead by that time.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So it more, and also for the speed run, they turn on infinite health and infinite ammo, which are gold build unlocks. So combat is trivialized so hard. It just becomes a case of how do we skip things? How do we get from place to place to place very fast?
Well, that's kind of why I was saying maybe low level runs maybe where you don't focus on a lot of the just run through and don't care kind of mentality, but maybe still have to kind of care but try to just go fast kind of deal.
Yeah. I think what else? I hopped in the Marvel Snap for its PC.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I've been hopping
full
in
full
Snap.
Screen launch. I had it scheduled for tomorrow for pre-show because since we're doing Spider-Man, might as well make it a Marvel stream.
Fair.
And I was doing it Thursday after I did Ratchet and Clank because it only took me 30 minutes to beat the final level. I thought there was more to it, but there wasn't. Oops.
I have all the Twitch drops, and I've been logging in every day to get the PC launch stuff.
I got my Twitch drops, and since I have Marvel Snap on my phone, it tells me, hey, by the way, come in, log on, and get your PC reward. So I've got Mecha Devil Dinosaur and whatever else has come from the PC launch.
I think that side of it's all been Devil Dinosaur side of it kind of deal.
Oh, okay. Because I know the Twitch drops, it's Sunfire, Nightcrawler, and somebody else. It's essentially three packages.
Nightcrawler, Moon Girl, and then Sunspot.
Yeah. It's just a bundle of stuff for them plus credits.
Yep. Also, no, you're not the only one that can do the darn Devil Dinosaur screw you move now.
Yeah.
I saw that and immediately made a deck.
Mm-hmm.
That actually is pretty darn good. For something I just kind of hobbled together and said, this might work, it actually worked pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with the deck I cobbled together. It's hard to judge because I'm trying to play Conquest because you get more boosters out of Conquest.
When I first did mine, I just played regular matches because I still hadn't had Conquest unlocked because I kind of haven't played it enough.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me a feel of if the deck was even viable. The one proving grounds that I wound up doing with mine, I got down to the whole 2 bars left and then clawed my way back to a victory, and I still don't understand.
It's like the one I had on stream, but the opposite case where I got somebody down to 2 bars and they crawled back against me several times over because they won by 1 point on 2 locations several times over.
It wasn't even that I was barely winning. It was one of those when I started making the comeback. No, I was actually making a decent comeback, and I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, why were you not doing this the first few matches?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the actual match that I did on Pokemon TCG here a couple of days ago. I figured I'd try that Charizard deck. The game told me that I'm not going to try that deck because it refused to give me energy for like a good third of the match until I forced the deck to start giving them to me.
Mm-hmm.
By that point, it was over. I get the funny feeling that some of these deck building games, they just pick and choose when you're going to do good.
RNG is not nice.
Sometimes I wonder if it's even RNG.
Yeah.
Because, like, what's the odds for the Pokemon, for example, that I'm gonna have like a good 5-6 draws and never touch any of the energies in a deck? And have to force the deck to give them to me. Like, that's where I'm just like, what the heck? That doesn't feel like RNG. That feels like the game just saying, nah, we ain't doing this today.
How many cards do you get in your opening hand?
Isn't it 5? I think
it's 5, so that's 49. At 49 cards.
I don't remember how many that deck has out the gate, kind of deal. Also, I have no idea why the taskbar for me is acting stupid, but I'm having to move Windows over to a different screen, and then sometimes it decides it's going to put a button down there for it. Because I was fixing to find out.
At that point, if you are drawing a card, if you're going second turn, 30% of your deck is energy. If it's 15 energy, which is what I run. I don't know how many energy that deck runs.
I don't either. Also, Windows, why? Why? think the taskbar's trying to break is what's fixing to happen here. I'm fixing to pull that deck up and see, because I feel like it is 15.
Yeah. It's like 30% odds in going, or it's like a 30% chance in up.
Yeah.
As you continue to get it. And that's assuming you do not draw anything to draw a card. That is just the single card draw you get per turn.
And that's why I was like, I feel like that one was just the game saying, no, we ain't doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was ridiculous.
And yeah, I've been there too.
There's 12 in that one.
Okay, so 12 by... Did I say 48? Or no, 49.
I think you said 49.
Yeah. So, all right, it starts at a 24% chance, and then you're going to go up from there for every card.
So pretty much what I'm hearing is the 4 or 5 turns that I was not drawing any energies whatsoever, I should have at least had a shot on getting one of them.
Yeah.
At least.
Like I said, that is assuming single card draw. That is not assuming you have cards to that you have like Professor's Research to dump your hand to draw 7. You have...
That was the only way I was getting any. Was by forcing it to dump my hand. That and then the Charizard ability. I wound up having to double up on that, and that was the only way I could get anything to even start to play.
Yeah, because I think in the decks I run, I have 3 cards that do draw 3s. I have I think it's Zizu card, someone from Arceus, that draws cards equals to my opponent's hand plus 1. Which is, I found is very good if your opponent decides to draw a shit ton of cards.
Which that one was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the same deck that was curb stomping you. The exact same one. And it just said, nah. Because that was one of those, I was learning the deck against you. And it was just outpacing you on that.
Yeah.
And I think even wasn't the first match really kind of screwing you over by not giving you what you needed to?
Yep.
So it's almost like the game's just decided that one person is going to win before the match even starts.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I feel like I don't really care for that. Whereas
I feel like with
I honestly feel like Snap doesn't do that.
Yeah. I think the thing I've noticed in Snap is that when it comes to the meta is that it seems like if people are running meta decks, it's kind of an all or nothing. Like they need very specific pulls to really maximize their deck. Otherwise, it doesn't go as well as it should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think that's probably why the deck that I built kind of works. Because I've got and from what you were saying you do too, the theming of having like a full ongoing deck. And most of your ongoing cards can work in conjunction with one another. So if you've got a full deck built around that, then it's just more of a case of what's going to give you the best option, not I have to get to this card.
Yeah.
Not to mention, part of the reason I think the meta for Snap is that way is because it is literally 12 cards and you draw most of them throughout the match. Because you draw 5 cards and you start with 5, right?
4, I think.
Okay. So I mean, you're pretty much drawing all but 3 of your cards naturally. it's one of those chances are you're gonna pull the one that you need to finish the build. Case in point, the deck that I've got has Devil Dinosaur in it. It really doesn't matter if I get Moon Girl or not, because I'm more than likely gonna get Devil.
Mm-hmm. That's the meta deck that it suggested to me based off the cards I had. Which I found that this deck is.
Which one are you using?
Marvel Snap Tracker.
Okay.
It's not the tracker I saw that all those people that they were doing the drops were running. They were running something else. Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
That's the one Hobbs uses, and I got that one kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this one, it's about pulling cards not in your deck into your hand and boosting something like Collector, which gets energy or gets power based off that. Cable draws a card from an opponent's hands. Quinjet drops the cost of cards that didn't start in your deck. Kitty Pryde bounces back and forth, which procs Collector. 13 drops a random card into your hand that's not in your deck. Sentinel copies a card, which counts. Moon Girl doubles cards, which boosts Collector. White Queen copies a card from your opponent's deck, so that counts. So it's a lot of that is what it's trying to do.
The only thing in that feels like could be swapped out would be America in that.
Yeah, America's just the last draw. Just dump Here's 9 on a location.
Well, that's your guarantee tide shifter kind of deal.
Yeah.
Since you know you're getting her regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of my early decks I always built with Quicksilver starting is because sometimes having that opener is enough to kind of force the opponent to play different.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also noticing that you're better off to not have something like that.
Yeah. It feels weird because you're like, oh, I'm not, I'm wasting energy. Why? I don't want to waste energy, but it's like, you're not really wasting energy.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're wasting one that may or may not come back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
Whereas the only issue that I could see with yours, but actually would benefit, is the fact that you've got a lot of lower cost in there.
Mm-hmm.
And not really nothing in that mid-range. Because I don't try to build it even, but I do try to focus a nice round. That way I've kind of got a good one for each of the turns kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for having to boot up the game to grab mine, then I would show you what mine was.
I just pulled up my tracker because the tracker has mine saved on the website. So that's what I've been trying to run. It doesn't have as much ongoing as I like, but I wasn't liking a lot of the ongoing, so I might swap it to a on reveal deck.
I've got an on reveal that I built also, but I don't think I've got the right cards to do a good on reveal one.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be one of those I might have to come back to that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. I'm finding out that having Nebula as this card is here, ignore it if you want. She's just going to get energy every turn or get power every turn that you decide to not challenge it. Also, armor is really great if I keep facing destruction decks because I'm like, oh, that's cute. You put Nova and Wolverine and Sabretooth on this location. What if I drop armor on there and now you can't kill them?
Right there, by the way. That's the ongoing one that I've been doing. The only thing that I have a problem with on this deck is actually my 6 costs. Spectrum and Onslaught, I don't really get to utilize as much as I would like.
Yeah.
A lot of times Claw and Devil kind of takes the cake on that.
Mm-hmm.
I say that, but really Spectrum's kind of the only one that I would, without a question, probably pull and put something else in.
Yeah,
because I have actually won one because of the way I used Onslaught, so.
Mm-hmm. I sat there with the toggle to see all of the cards I even don't have and was like, okay, what even if I don't have would work with this deck? And I was like, I felt like my 6 cost options were just like, well, it's Spectrum and I'm not happy with anything else. And I was like, like I feel like I'd rather use Blue Marvel because Blue Marvel is like a flat +1 to everybody. It doesn't have that like caveat.
This is the on reveal deck that I'm still poking around with. I did win one with it, but I feel like I feel like I don't really like doing the Carnage Sinister Nova concept there.
Yeah.
Even though that works out pretty good, it just feels like I'm relying on too much to try to pull that off.
Yeah. I feel like at that point, you either go all in on destruction or don't.
Yeah, and I don't have enough cards to do a full-on destruction deck.
Yeah, because what I see is people run, what is it? Wolverine and Sabretooth and Bucky, because all 3 of them benefit from getting destroyed on field.
Yeah.
Because Wolverine gets destroyed, gets plopped to another location. Sabretooth, I think, goes back to your hand. Buffed.
And Bucky turns into Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
and stays in whatever lane he's in.
Yeah, Deadpool, I believe, also bounces, and I think he drops cost and ups power.
I think so.
Yeah, that, and I think some people run Death.
Oh, no, he don't drop cost. He just doubles the power.
Ah, okay. They must have something else in there. Oh, yeah. Deathlock is another one I see that people run for destruction decks. And then Death is like a, here's your big card at the end of the game. Because it's like, oh, it's 8 cost. You'll never get that. But if you're running a destruction deck, you drop that cost to like nothing by the end. Which is why I like running. I found out I like running armor because it's like, oh, no, I'm denying you destruction. But anyway, I guess anything else on Snap? Or anything else?
No.
All right, then. So shall we get to the news?
I guess we shall.
All right. Gamescom Opening Night Live 2023 was this past week, Jeff Keighley had someone run on stage right at the start of it and try to be annoying and got carted off immediately. So that's becoming a trend. We're gonna just run through this list and we'll talk about whatever might interest us. Starfield had a trailer. Todd Howard and talked new gameplay stuff. That's kind of it. Feel like we talked enough about Starfield.
I mean, yeah. Plus, like I said, I'm kind of at a point of I'm not really wanting to dig into it. Like, I know what it is, and that's good enough for me. I want them to impress me, kind of deal.
Zach Shire showed off a couple movies that has nothing to do with games, I think. I don't know why he was here. That exists. We're moving on. The COD Modern Warfare 3 had gameplay. Hooray!
I thought it smelled fishy around here.
Yep. I am skimming through the trailer because, just for reference, folks, I was asleep for like the middle portion of this because it was 3.5 hours, I think. Something, I don't know. I know I laid down and I fell asleep for a little bit. So this certainly looks like a current Call of Duty.
So moving on.
Yeah. Alan Wake 2 showed off some of Alan Wake's gameplay. Since we have two protagonists for that one, it was Alan Wake, which that. Thanks IGN trailer for being loud. Neat, cool. I have nothing else to say. Diablo 4 showed off its second season of content called Season of Blood. You get to be a vampire hunter now, or you get to have a vampire hunter companion, and you get to fight vampires. Hooray! For some reason, both it and Fortnite had on the same concept.
It's almost like they copied each other.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat 1 showed off two new fighters, Sundel and General Shao. Not Shao Kahn, because new timeline. He's not Khan he's not Khan. He's just General at the moment. So the gameplay for them shown off. Hooray, more Mortal Kombat 1. It looks fine. It's been a long time since I played a Mortal Kombat, which I think was the original reboot Mortal Kombat way back in the day.
Oh, so Mortal Kombat 1 too?
Mortal Kombat, whatever the year it came out, because that's its designation.
Well, I mean, we're at 1.3 now, so I mean,
yeah, I think it's technically Mortal Kombat 9. Yeah, it's technically Mortal Kombat 9.
but they didn't attach
also
a number to it, so I mean,
Yeah, it's Mortal Kombat, whatever year it came out. I think it was like 2016. Tekken 8 got a release date, January 26, 2024. You can play as all the big fancy Tekken characters, 32 characters, which is like one of the larger rosters for a fighting game at launch. One of them is in fact a bear, which is like normal.
yeah.
Also, I believe that bear has a robot fish that it shoots at you. I think I'm seeing this part in the trailer. Yes, it has a robot fish that it shoots at you as a rocket. Neat. Okay. Assassin's Creed Mirage is here as it feels like a reboot Assassin's Creed, but it's not, because it's going back to where Assassin's Creed 1 took place. So that exists. Cyberpunk 2077, after apparently fixing all of its problems and stuff, has its DLC coming out, or its big expansion DLC, Phantom Liberty. So hooray for them. They fixed the video game. Sonic Superstars, which is the big fancy co-op Sonic. Is coming out October. I'm actually interested in this. This actually looks good. Unfortunately, the co-op is local only. Because of course it is. Also, Sonic Frontiers will have an update called the Final Horizon coming soon. It's a free update. We get to reach a new level of Supersonic, as seen in this trailer. I guess it's Supersonic 2. I don't know what else to call it.
I see what you did there.
To be fair, I'm not the first person to say that.
I mean, of course, people would have to make that comparison because, you know, Sonic themselves pretty much made that comparison.
It also doesn't help that it worked. It looks exactly like how Super Saiyan 2 looks in Dragon Ball.
That's funny.
The hair is more spikier, and there is electricity. It literally is just Super Saiyan 2.
Oh, Jesus.
Which means if we get a Supersonic 3, he gets longer quills.
And no eyebrows.
Yes. And then Super Saiyan 4, where he somehow gets a 6-pack.
I mean, that's assuming that you're taking GT into canon.
Somebody does. Somewhere, I'm sure.
Because I think technically Super kind of said GT doesn't exist.
Probably.
Meaning that we would then get a lighter shade of blue quills for Sonic.
We get Super Saiyan God, we get Super
Super Sonic God, Super Sonic.
Yes.
I swear someone needs to make a mod for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be immensely funny.
Granted, Dragon Ball has accepted multiverse nonsense via time travel shenanigans, so all of the things that people care about from GT, which is Super Saiyan 4, do exist still. They're just off in the multiverse. Besides the one that got introduced in Super. Quantic Dream has a new game called Dustborn. Maybe this one will actually be on track to come out, unlike their Star Wars game. Thank goodness you're here. Is from the Untitled Goose Game folks. It looks like an adventure game. I assume shenanigans will abound. Little Nightmares 3 was announced. Trailer showing some co-op gameplay stuff. Black Myth Wukong is a Souls-like game. Marvel Snap had its animated trailer to show it as a part of its, big release of the PC update and stuff. We have a Sailor Moon Squirrel Girl in this trailer and on the title screen. I kind of want them to make a full team of Sailor Scouts for Marvel characters. I want to see who's in it.
I mean, fair.
Medieval Fighter Warhaven got a release date of September 21st. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which is the action RPG for Grand Blue Fantasy, is coming out February 1st. It looks neat enough. Let's see. I'm just skipping through stuff now because I'm just like, this is too much. Oh, there's so many things here I don't care about. Moving on. Hey, Armored Core 6 had a trailer. It's already out, so yeah, they're not even adding in stuff for these. So just skip. There's a Payday 3 trailer featuring Ice-T. Is he playable? I think so. That's neat, I guess. This is honestly the first time I've actually sat down and watched Payday 3 trailer gameplay footage.
I mean, yet another one that I'm like, I kind of want them to prove it to me kind of deal.
Yeah.
Especially after they went all give us money happy.
After they went DLC nuts. Not as nuts as like Train Simulator, but Jesus. Like, has anyone calculated the final price of all the Payday 2 DLC?
Probably somewhere. The question is, did they calculate it based off of store prices or off of what they spent? Because one of those would make a wallet cry. The other one would just make it fear its life.
I had a number, but then I saw the post was 2016 and it was already 3 digits, and I'm like, oh dear. Okay. According to the Steam page, the approximate price is $252.83 for all Payday 2 DLC.
That you would have to buy as of right now, but bear in mind, remember how they made some of the older DLCs free at one point?
Yeah.
So probably easily double that.
Probably. It's too much. Yeah, Gamescom opening night live was certainly a thing with too many games and not enough for me to care about.
I mean, fair, yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then. We got a new trailer, a proper gameplay trailer for Robocop Rogue City, which is a FPS where you play as the Robocop, doing Robocop things. This looks kind of neat. Like, I'm not seeing anything like too like fancy or special outside of, hey, you do some FPS investigation stuff and then kind of standard FPS gameplay, it looks like. Although you can't pick up a bike and just yeet it at somebody's face. So that part might be fun, but I don't have many other thoughts. Do you?
I mean, it's Robocop.
Yeah. Next up, which is mainly just for me, Persona 3 Reload had a couple new trailers shown off. One of them was just showing off the new battle theme. It's going down now. The other one showed off some more gameplay because they had demos for this in 5 Tactica at Gamescom. The 3 one was just showing off a Tartarus segment and then a boss segment. The kind of interesting thing is shown in the trailer a little bit, and then in an interview they talked about how there is a gameplay thing attached to it. But the team is getting new outfits and stuff later in the game after you pick up your like second new party member of the team, technically. You'll be sporting new armbands and then new outfits in general. The armbands apparently have a gameplay mechanic that they are not talking about at the moment. So be curious to see what that gameplay mechanic is. Because it's not the baton pass system where you pass off your turn to another teammate to give them a boost to their attack and stuff, because that's present in the game and not attached to that gimmick. So I don't know, and I'm kind of curious. But otherwise, it was confirming, I guess the social link is here from the FPS version. Also, unfortunately, this is going to be a $70 game, whereas Tactica is $60. So, trying to push that $70 price tag. Some companies are. But this will be on Game Pass, so I'll just pick it up on Game Pass. Do you have any thoughts?
No.
I didn't think so. Next up, Sony talked more about their not Switch. So for $200, you can pick up what they're dubbing the PlayStation Portable, which allows you to do remote play of your PlayStation 5 games.
You mean the PSP?
Yes. And that's it.
Did they really not think about that at all? Because I feel like the naming team was just like, what can we do for this? Well, we could bring back PSP. Yeah, but we have to call it something different. Let's change the last word. Because this has to be one of the laziest naming things ever.
Yeah. But it's an 8-inch LCD.
Not to mention, anyone that's seen the attachable controllers for like a phone, yeah, guess what? You're spending $200 for that, because that's pretty much all this is going to be.
Yeah, it's an 8-inch LCD screen, 1080 FPS or 1080p FPS, 60 FPS playback. It is remote play only. You can only remotely play your PS5 over Wi-Fi. And can play supported games on your...
But I'd say you also can probably use the PS Now stuff.
Nope.
You can't use the cloud gaming stuff?
Nope.
So then this is pointless.
Yes.
Someone will jailbreak it and then you can use the cloud gaming stuff on it, I'm sure.
You can only play games that are installed on your console. That's it.
Someone will jailbreak it and then they'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's probably going to be running some form of Linux on the back end, so.
It does have a 3.5mm audio jack for their brand new headsets and earbuds. Hooray.
The headsets I get, but earbuds?
Yes. Wireless earbuds.
That's kind of what I was expecting.
Look, it might just be
wireless earbuds need a 3.5 jack.
Yes.
Wireless. It's like, think about that there, guys. That's not part of the marketing for that. Come on.
But yeah, here is the note in the article. PSVR 2 games, which require the headset and games streamed through PlayStation Plus Premium's cloud streaming, are not supported. Then what's the point of this? You have made a Wii U gamepad, Sony. You made a Wii U gamepad.
That is exactly what they did. I think there's cheap knockoff copies of like the Steam Link stuff that actually does more than this.
A Steam Deck does more than this and costs less.
Heck, a Steam Deck probably can run the PlayStation Plus cloud stuff.
Excuse me, no, it doesn't actually. This is half the price of a Steam Deck. My bad. A Steam Deck is $400.
Still though, a Steam Deck you can actually install games, not just Steam games, because there are people that have even gotten games like Star Citizen that has no attachment to Steam whatsoever running in them.
Mm-hmm.
What are they thinking?
I have no idea. Because for those thinking this might be a worse Switch, no, the Switch can go on the go fully. It is not remote play. It is all on the console. You can just pick up the console and go. This, no, you have to be in range of your Wi-Fi.
Like the only way I could see this working, and it really would only be software side of it, would be if it was a case of they let the PS5 generate its own Wi-Fi network kind of deal, since it has to be games installed kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then technically you could have the PS5 just sitting even in like a hotel room just plugged up and then be playing it on this.
Yeah.
So I could see something like that working if they were spinning it that direction, but I don't think they're ever going to be smart enough to think about that. Because, we got to have a 3.5 jack for wireless earbuds.
It might just be me, but I can't wear earbuds for long stretches of time. My ears hurt after a while.
It depends on what kind of earbuds they are. I've had some where they will do exactly that. They will hurt after about an hour or so. But then I've had some of them that after about the first 5 minutes, I don't even realize I've still got them in kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it does have to depend on how they're made kind of deal.
Yeah. I have to use these old earbuds I've had forever that's hook over your ear. So they're not like fully plugged in, because that helps.
Those are honestly the best kind of deal.
Yeah.
Granted, I would much rather have an over-the-ear headphone concept.
Same.
But yeah, this just feels like a bad decision.
Well, it's $200. It's supposed to come out this year, but we have no specific release date. Congratulations, Sony. You've copied a thing and did it worse. Bravo. Now people can play all 3 games exclusive to your console over remote play?
Yeah, and they can play the others on a computer through the cloud gaming.
Yes. Anyway, I guess for some people it's sad news, but I'm like, you know what? Good, let him retire. Let him enjoy retirement. Charles Martinet. It was announced on Nintendo, and Charles Martinet also said on Twitter that he is retiring from his role as Mario, specifically as Mario, which is weird wording because he does more than Mario, specifically for Nintendo. But after 30 years as the character, 30 years, his first role as Mario is Mario Teaches Typing, technically. Because I believe that, or no. Yeah, Mario Teaches Typing, the original in 1994. That is how long he's been playing Mario. Which I think is almost as long as the character has had a voice. in games at least.
Yeah.
But after 30 years, he is retiring from the role. He is now going to be Mario Ambassador, whatever that entails. But some extra notes. He is not Mario in Wonder. So it is a new voice actor for Mario in Wonder. I also assume it's a new voice actor for Luigi in Wonder as well, since for those that didn't know, practically everyone who wears the hat in the Mario canon is voiced by Charles Martinet. So practically,
I am wondering though, have we hit a point where maybe he has been slowly phased out of different voices and we just haven't realized it?
I don't know. Be honest. Because I'm looking at all of his credits and like it's a ton of Mario and stuff, and some things I didn't realize, like he was in an old JoJo's Bizarre Adventure OVA as a character, which I'm like, what? I knew he was in Skyrim. I didn't know this. I also didn't know he was in Dragon Ball. Yeah, he plays Magenta in Dragon Ball Legends, and I think, yeah, that character's in Dragon Ball Superhero. He was also in Beauty and the Beast, like Disney Beauty and the Beast from 1997, and Anastasia in 1997. Well, not that. Is it that Anastasia I'm thinking of? Yes. Yes, it is that Anastasia. I thought so.
No, actually, no. It don't look like they have tried to phase out, because the last entries for Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi all would be the ones that he's done. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
like I said,
odd that they only shouted out Mario.
Yeah, because
Even though I think Luigi, he's done the voice for nearly as long.
Yeah, and he will be Luigi in the Dark Moon re-release that they're doing for Switch. But that just might be his old lines.
Probably on that.
Yeah. So I saw a confirmation of that.
And yeah, by the way, not just Luigi, but also Wario. Mario Kart 64 was the first for him to do all three.
Yeah. And I believe WarioWare Move It is confirmed to not be him too. But we don't know who's stepping in his place for any role.
I almost feel like it's probably going to be something similar kind of deal. They're probably not going to have each character have a new voice actor kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to have one person that can do similar enough to all four kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I only say that because you can't really tell it with his depiction of each of them. But I would venture to say that a well-trained ear probably could hear similarities between all four.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be a case of they might want to go for something of that nature to where it doesn't feel like a big change up. It feels just like a soft handoff kind of deal.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I saw this and saw that he wasn't Mario Wonder, because I'm like, oh, is Wonder going to be his last role, or is it going to be like something before then? And it saw a confirmation of Wonder he's not in Wonder. I'm like, what? Rewatch the trailer, try to listen, and I'm like, I can't tell the difference.
Which, I mean, that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
That means one of two things has really happened there. Either they've got a really good audio team that has made the new voice sound close enough to where it's not going to be that noticeable, or the new person really has done their work and really are putting in the effort for it, kind of deal.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. It is sad that Charles Martinet is stepping away from the role, but also the man is 68. And I would assume a high-pitched voice like Mario and the other Mario characters he voices is, harder and harder to do with age. Because I know for Mark Hamill, it's gotten harder and harder for him to do the Joker voice as he's gotten older. So I'm like, hey, let him retire. Let him move on. Let someone else take over the role. It's okay. Like, I know this comes off the back of like the Mario movie with Chris Pratt playing Mario and not Charles Martinet, but like Chris Pratt did fine. I just feel like because I saw it a couple of times of some people like, oh, they're throwing him out of the role and stuff. And I'm like, no, they still have him on the payroll for being an ambassador for them, which I'm sure is an easy paycheck for him. And you know what? At 68, with 30 years of voice acting, of a very good, steady job in voice acting, which is a hard thing. Because I remember, I forget who it is, but it was Porky Pig's voice actor. It's a video where he talks about how he does Porky Pig's voice, and he breaks it down. And at the end, he's like, and that's why I have job security. This is because he's able to do that and been able to do that for like 50 years. You know what? He's had 30 years of really good job security of playing these characters, and he does a really good job. And hey, let him enjoy retirement. Let him walk away and like spend time with his family and stuff. I'm all for that. But anything else?
No.
All right, then. Destiny 2 had a big showcase after like an hour delay because their stream did not start on time. And unfortunately, I didn't get to sit down and watch this when it happened because I was off doing an interview when it happened. So I had to come back and watch the archive. But they were showing off the final shape. So this is their big, as they keep reiterating in their stream, this is the big culmination of their 10 years of storytelling. I'm like, all right, sure it is. I'm sure you had all this planned for 10 years. I'm not going to fight you on this, but I am going to look at you like you probably didn't, but I'm going to let you run with it. It's okay.
Well, I mean, you're never going to have something that big fully set out.
Yeah.
But I can see that, from a storytelling side of it, they might have always had the way that it's going to end laid out. It's a case of how do they get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least looking at everything from like this past season, you can tell that they at least put thought into it. So I don't know necessarily if the exact details were all the way from the start, but at least where the end goal was there in a rudimentary form.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of can give them that end of it, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you probably weren't full on planning this.
Mm-hmm. But the big thing they wanted to talk about was what is the final shape going to be? And more or less, it's going to be a very linear experience, as they talked about. It's going to be kind of like you're going into the Pale Heart of the Traveler, to use their words. And and you are getting kind of a best of experience with Destiny as you travel through your history physically. The tower from Destiny 1, I think the Cosmodrome. I think I spotted the Cosmodrome in there.
Yep.
Amongst other locations you're going to be traveling through as you make your way to the Witness's tower where he has set up shop. And you're going to go fight him. And they specifically talk about how the narrative will have a definitive end in terms of you doing normal gameplay and stuff. We're not going to leave off the end of it in the raid. Kind of. They were a bit mixed messaging on that, but their intention is if you play the main campaign, you get a satisfying conclusion. The raid will be the raid. And I guess it will be kind of an extra wrap up, or maybe people who complete the raid will affect other people's gameplay. Because they've done that with The Last Wish. Again, it's kind of mixed messaging, but it seems like the big intention is we want to land this narrative after we kind of fucked up the last one.
Yeah.
Oops. This is our big finale. We can't fuck this up. We are putting everything into getting this right. Even if it means we are dropping other stuff and throwing other stuff to the side, we gotta nail this. So we are going to nail this. But in the lead up to that, we are starting with the Season of the Witch, which has... I forgot her name. Eris becoming Eris Morn, a long-standing character of the franchise, becoming a hive god in order to fuck up the other hive gods, essentially. And we're dealing with hive bullshit for all season. I don't think we have a name for the next season before Final Shape.
We usually don't get the next season kind of deal. It's usually a case of that one just stays blank until they're ready to reveal it.
Yeah, but we have one more season before we get to Final Shape. And then after Final Shape, they're going to go they're going to rebrand more or less their seasons to be episodes. Do they have the episode names?
They had them in the little showcase thing. I don't know if they actually...
There, I found it. So it'll be 3 episodes a year instead of 4 seasons a year. So they're going to drop a season. They're going to extend episode, or they're going to make episodes a little bit longer. I wish.
Oh, yeah, I found it. Okay. It's actually in the article too.
Yeah, I found it in the article. Let me see if I can find the breakdown in the stream. That will help. But the 3 episodes are Echoes, which will be March of next year, Revenant, which will follow that, and then Heresy, which will follow that. We got little images associated with them, but what all that means, I don't know. Go ask Bife. He probably knows, maybe.
I mean, no one will, because they kind of full out said that the episodes are going to be dealing with the aftermath from the Final Shape.
Right.
Which, taking that into consideration, almost makes it seem like we're not going to have a happy ending come out of it. It's going to be one of those more bittersweet victories.
Mm-hmm.
And I could kind of see that, seeing as how 2 of our recent major expansions kind of focused on the ability to harness the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of making me lean towards that this is kind of what the play was to kind of phase out some of the light abilities and maybe even some of the darkness and have more hybrid concepts.
Yeah. They did talk about supers, just to touch on some gameplay stuff. They did talk about some new supers. One of them is you get to throw some big ass axes that land in the ground, and you and your teammates can pick up those axes. Another one is you do more fire damage and you give your teammates fire damage. So they talked about wanting to do a lot of you do cool thing, but you also let your teammates do cool things with you in terms of the supers. So that's kind of the theming for the supers for Final Shape. Okay. Finally found what I've been after. So the episode breakdowns, and this is how they're breaking down the content, is each of the episodes, they're going to be 3 acts that are 6 weeks apiece for 24 weeks of an episode. Each 6-week stretch will have new quests, new story, new activities, new weapons, artifact mods, pass ranks, pass rewards, new armor. Well, the first 6 weeks will have all that. The second and third weeks will have, as long as I match up all these icons, we'll have everything but new armor. So the new armor will start an episode, but then the subsequent 2 acts will just have the other stuff. And there will be a new exotic weapon and a new exotic mission every episode. Also, Revenant is July to October, and Heresy is November to February. So there's an idea of how the episodes will go structure-wise. I had to dig through the live stream to get this breakdown. Besides that, story-wise, Cade is back. There's a whole mystery about how he's back. They call him a Virgil-like character, and as your guide through the Pale Heart. Zavala and Ikora are also here, as they're like, we're bringing things full circle. The original Vanguard is here.
They also, for those that haven't bought the expansions and played through everything, they have picked out important missions for each of the expansions, as well as giving you a little bit of insight leading into it, kind of deal.
Yeah, it's a thing called timelines.
It's really neat on how they do it.
Yeah.
Because essentially you get a kind of a recollection dialogue from, at least for the Cade one, because I have done that one. You get that coming from Ikora, and then you lead into that mission. So it's one of those, it does feel like you're playing that mission kind of deal. The good thing is that is actually the only way to actually see Cade's final mission.
Yeah,
because
since they took
the
out
rest of
Forsaken.
that, yeah, it all went by except for the weapons. But yeah, it's one of those, I wish they went farther back than that with it.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like there's part of the story that new people wouldn't know either, kind of deal. Because Forsaken's pretty decent piece into the game, kind of deal.
Maybe it'll be a running thing that they'll do. Then they'll update it backwards to kind of help give new players like a proper through-line experience of Destiny 2, so they can catch up on the plot as they play the new stuff.
I mean, it would be nice, except for, Bungie's not in the best stance financially, so meh.
Yeah. Besides that, a couple new weapons. They're introducing a rocket pistol sidearm family that has pistols that shoots rockets. And then an exotic fusion rifle. I forget the name of it. I guess they don't say. But essentially, it will change its type based on your class. So you can also now do Strand weapon type for the first time. And then we have a new enemy called Subjugators that are using stasis in Strand. I am surprised we don't have a third dark subclass.
Yeah.
I'll I figured that was kind of where we were going. Since we introduced 2 of them, I'm like, well, we have 3 light subclasses. Where's our 3rd dark subclass?
See, I have to wonder if it got scrapped at some point, and that's probably why Lightfall feels like it's the odd one out kind of deal. Because Beyond Light brought Stasis in.
Mm-hmm.
Strand, to me, feels like it would have flowed better with the Witch Queen.
That's what people were thinking as well. Because I saw a video of Deep breaking that down and looking at Witch Queen's content and noticed that whatever the thing you were doing during Witch Queen, it feels like if Strand was there, it would work the same. And a lot of things about Strand makes more sense with Witch Queen, but it got delayed. So it ended up getting put in Lightfall. And then Lightfall kind of became Lightfall. Because it's like, oh, we got to put Strand in here. Okay.
Lightfall by itself isn't bad.
Yeah.
But it almost feels out of place. It almost feels like we should have had a different one there, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what would we have done, though, would have been the big thing. Because it's one of those... You got the 3 main light classes. So what would be the 3rd to kind of partner with it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be the other thing that might have helped get that delayed kind of deal. It might have been a case of maybe they hit that same roadblock where it's like, what could we do for a 3rd one that wouldn't just feel like a copy paste?
Yeah, because we did. You get 2 freeze things, and then did. Oh, you can do grapple hook shenanigans.
And it's one of those. What else can you really do? Because you've got on the light side of it, you've got Solar, Void, and Arc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those. It's hard to pinpoint what else you could do.
Yeah, and I feel like the 3rd darkness subclass would have to do something environmental because the other two do environmental things. Because Stasis gives you barriers and stuff, and then Strand is grapple hook, so it has to be environmental for theming's sake.
Well,
I would think.
See, that's the other thing too. Strand's been kind of treated as like the water class kind of deal, because everything pertaining to it story-wise is about basically going with the flow and all of that. So it's like, so you're kind of drawn the equivalency to a water class with this, which then also poses another problem because now you've got ice and water. What else really would go with it?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because I feel like there is stuff that got cut somewhere there, and that Strand would feel better as some kind of hive darkness form kind of deal. But it's one of those I couldn't place what would actually work in its position either, though, kind of deal.
Yeah. I will say I am a sucker for tarot cards, and saying that this season is based around a gameplay system that is letting you choose combat modifiers themed around tarot cards is that kind of is pulling me for no good reason other than I'm a sucker for tarot cards as a Persona fan.
I kind of want to dig into that part of it a little bit more. In all seriousness. Because it's not super clear on how all of that works. And that's the one complaint that I kind of have out of that. We implement a new thing and we're not going to be super clear on how to use new thing.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. The only other extra note is Crota's Inn is getting a redesign, like updated version of it as the raid for this season. And they specifically wanted to note that this raid is going to be hard, but they are tuning a lot of this. They're doing a lot of things with this raid in terms of its difficulty, so they can tune the Final Shapes raid. Because that is important for them, that the raid also hits as well. And Crota's Inn is kind of serving as like a beta testing ground of a sense in terms of difficulty settings.
That, and it's probably going to be using a form of the other thing they mentioned in the showcase about after the Final Shape, they're going to start implementing a fire team level kind of deal.
Yeah, if you boost your teammates, or whoever is highest light level, they will boost their other teammates up so much light level to kind of like, so people can do content together but not have to be the same light level, because not everyone wants to do the 1,000-hour light level grind.
To me, it looked like they were going to take more of an average kind of deal between everyone in the fire team. And basically set everyone to that light level kind of deal, which is better than the current method of it usually falls somewhere around whoever's the highest light level, meaning your lower light level people in the fire team aren't going to be doing nearly as much damage or be able to tank nearly as much.
Yeah, and they're doing an in-game FLG stuff, which we'll see how that goes.
The reason I say that the raid coming, I think, isn't it next week?
It's soon.
I know it's the beginning of September. I can't remember if they said it was the 1st or if it was going to be a different day. But anyhow, that one, it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to do some form of early testing for that, because the opening strike for this season, one of the modifiers on it is all enemies are 5 light level above your light level kind of deal. Meaning that they're already working on some form of balancing. Because I think that's the first time I've actually seen that one.
September 1st will be the day it drops.
I thought it said the 1st, but I couldn't swear to that. Because I was thinking, God, if they do it the first Tuesday, then oh God.
It'll be September 1st.
That would be 2 things trying to compete for everyone's attention.
Yeah. September 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern will be the release timing for it, for, world first races and all that stuff. Conquest mode will be enabled for the first 48 hours. So if you conquer the raid in the first 48 hours, you get fancy emblem and all that hoopla. And I think world first, they might get a ring, I think, based off the trailer. Because I know they give out belts to world first people before. But it looks like they're giving out a ring for this one.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I do applaud them for giving out championship belts for world first runners.
All right.
But I think that is finally everything.
Yeah, I believe so, actually.
I applaud Bungie. They are trying real hard, because I recently saw in a Discord I was in that someone was interested in Destiny 2, but the taking out of the content really pushed them away from the game. And I've always understood on a back end thing why they did so. It's a rock and a hard place situation of, if we remove this content, it lets us be able to develop things better, but we are removing content from the game, which is never a fun thing. But if we don't remove this...
I get that side of it. I get they had to do it.
Yeah.
But here's the problem that I think I've more ran into now kind of deal. Why did we never get an option to download and play it offline? Or to set up basically dedicated server-ish setups with the current Xbox Live network?
Honestly, I don't know.
Because you could do platform-specific stuff, whereas you've got to be on like Steam or Xbox or PlayStation or whatever in order to play with other people on the same system, kind of deal. They could do something like that with the original content that they can no longer host on their servers. Then you would still technically have that content, and maybe even make it to a point where you tell the players, look, you're not going to necessarily have everything you've got when you're connected to our servers. It's going to be stuff handed to you throughout that campaign. Because I feel like people would be fine with something of that nature, even. Just to where they can at least experience the story. And at the same time, it really wouldn't hurt them monetarily because of the fact of, you know, they can't sell something that doesn't exist. If anything, it would benefit them because they'd be able to sell it to new players wanting to try to enter into the game.
Yeah.
It's one of those I've never understood why they didn't do some kind of local only concept for it.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you might have to take out some strikes or something, but taking out very little content or modifying it slightly would be a lot better than not having it at all, in my opinion. Because I full on get it. Like, you can't have an unlimited server storage kind of deal. So they had to remove something or the new stuff couldn't come. And I full on can understand that. But honestly, that was one of the reasons why I kind of walked away from it for a while there.
Anything else on Destiny then?
Yeah.
All right, then releases, because that's all the news we got for the week. We will kick off on the 29th with Agatha Christie Hercule Poirot, the London case for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Sea of Stars for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. That is the, I believe, Chrono Trigger like RPG that's coming out that I've seen trailers for that looks pretty good. Yes, I've seen this several times. This game looks gorgeous. It is beautiful and wonderful. I wish to play this at some point. The Rumblefish 2 for PlayStation 4 and Switch. I blame Thorgy's Arcade for getting the title screen call out of this stuck when he did a retrospective on the Rumblefish, because it's a fighting game. Let's see, on the 30th, Excitebike 64 is coming to the 64 emulator on Switch. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Rain Man and the Phantom Show for Switch DLC. I believe that's paid DLC. I still need to finish Sparks of Hope. So.
Same.
All right, on the 31st. Excuse me. I am scrolling through this and I'm like, TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, Dimension Shellshock DLC for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. 2 new characters, a whole, like, not necessarily a survival mode, but like a randomizer mode kind of, as well, which looks good. I missed one. We will skip down to September 1st. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk for Xbox One Series, Expedition 4 and 5. That has been making the rounds for a lot of people I follow. It is Jet Set Radio 3, essentially. So if you like Jet Set Radio, which is a skateboarding, roller skating kind of game where you're also doing like tagging stuff with spray cans, it has won a lot of people over, and a lot of people are very happy with it. It looks very good, because I've seen John play it, and I've seen a couple other people I follow play it. Mega Man X Dive offline for Android and iOS. This is the Mega Man X, or the Mega Man Gotcha game that is getting a full offline mode, so you can play it without having to worry about all of the more or less gotcha mechanics, more or less. All the content will be there. I wish more mobile games did this. It's just like, this game's out of service now. Here's the whole game. Go play. Have fun.
Yeah, but how can they make their money that way?
But they already made their money.
Exactly.
Let's see. September 5th. Rune Factory 3 Special for Switch. House of the Dead Remake for PlayStation 5. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator for PlayStation 4. And Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun for Switch. On the 6th, Baldur's Gate 3 for PlayStation 5. Balloon Star Defense 6 for Xbox One. In Starfield for Series X and PC. On the 7th, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. That's that Final Fantasy compilation of Final Fantasy VII recap game for Android and iOS. Hooray!
Yay. More 7 remake.
It's not just 7 remake. It's all the 7s. And it's all plot relevant to the remake.
I know someone's gonna get mad over this, but I'm tired of hearing about 7. I really
Honestly,
am.
I
It
look
feels
back
like they're
at
beating it into the ground at this point.
Yeah. Like, I look back at Remake and I enjoyed what I played. But being a long-term Kingdom Hearts fan and playing 3 and being burned very hard on how 3 turned out, I don't trust them on a game that's going to take 10 years to complete across 3 games. I need to have this all out first and be like, did this turn out good? Yes or no? Yes? All right, then I will give it a try. Because I ain't doing this right again with a Square Enix game. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't care. We also have the Expanse of Telltale Series Episode 4 for Xbox One Series, Expedition 4 and 5. The mini pieces of Mr. Coup for Xbox One Series, Expedition 4, 5, and Switch. And on the 8th, NBA 2K24 for Xbox One Series, Expedition 4, 5, and Switch. And that is about it. The full list is in our notes if you wish to run through them. Anything else?
No.
All right, tomorrow we race Turf Wars from Spider-Man.
And not from Splatoon.
Yes. Thursday, I start Indivisible, and we'll be playing through that on stream because I've come to realize, like, as much as I like Infinite Fusion and concept, if you don't want to have to individually grind up your Pokemon, you have to put it on easy mode, and that makes the game way... It's like you break the game in half in terms of level up. And honestly, I wish I turned on the option to do the fusions that just had custom art, because I feel like those are the better ones. I just kind of got bored with Infinite Fusion, so I don't know if we'll go back to it. Which is a shame, because there's cool stuff in Infinite Fusion, but I just don't have the will in me to run through all of it. Even though I'm like, I think a halfway point. Just about. But that is Thursday. Right. Yeah. Next Friday, we continue Payday 2.
Yep.
Next Saturday will be us continuing Ultraman Z. And I don't know what we'll do next Sunday, but
It's in the schedule.
let me pull it up real quick. Ooh. Next Sunday, it is Odyssey Festival Percent race. I had to make sure I was on the right Sunday.
And honestly, it might be the best of two, or it might be a 2-run kind of deal. I'm not sure. It'll depend on how quick we go through the first one. Because fun fact, my PB is 38 something, and I think I could still be on pace for stuff like that. So, question's gonna be how far behind you wind up being, kind of deal.
Yeah. But that is the week ahead, folks. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. At TGS Network on Mastodon.social and at TGZoon on Twitter. We'll give you updates when we go live. Thanks so much for going Discord and Jack. It's also link. Drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.